What is one misconception people have about self-employment that you'd like to clear up?
That it is difficult to acquire health and dental benefits. So you have to have a side job or you have to keep your 9 to 5 in order to have really, really good health and dental benefits.
Welcome to the Self-Employed Success Podcast, where we explore the world of self-employment and bring you inspiration, advice, and strategies for building financial independence without a traditional corporate job. In today's episode, we're joined by Queenette Nwobodo, a successful business coach who made an impressive $240,000 in just 30 days. Queenette's journey is a testament to the power of self-employment and the opportunities that it can bring. We're going to delve into her story and learn about the strategies that she used to achieve such incredible success. But first, a quick word from one of our sponsors. You are listening to the Self-Employed Success Podcast. This is your source for inspiration, advice, and strategies for building financial independence without a traditional corporate job. Each episode features interviews with successful entrepreneurs, freelancers, and business owners who have achieved financial freedom through self-employment. Whether you're just starting out on your entrepreneurial journey or you're a seasoned pro looking for new ideas, this podcast will give you the tools and insights you need to create a life and business that you love. Join us as we explore the world of self-employment and learn how to build the income, the freedom, and fulfillment you deserve. Welcome to the show, Queenette. I am so excited to have you on. I just want to say a huge thank you for accepting to take time off your busy schedule to come talk to us. And I'm sure the listeners are very excited to hear your story just by the title, Making $240,000 in 30 Days. Amazing. This is something every self-employed individual wants to hear. And so we're not going to start with that yet. We'll get to it. And so first and foremost, I do want to share with the listeners how I came across your beautiful self. I love hanging out online. As many of you know listening, if not, if this is your first time, know that I always talk about the value of being on social media strategically. And so I want to say I saw your profile, or perhaps you requested me. I don't even remember. All I remember is I was on Facebook and I saw your story and your post and I'm like, I need this woman in my life. And so I'm so appreciative of you connecting with me. I just want to thank you to come on the show, Queenette. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for having me. That's so sweet.
Before we dive into the journey and the strategies that got you to generating $240,000 in 30 days, the first question I have for you, Queenette, is can you tell us about your journey from being a school counselor to a successful business coach that you are today? I'm sure something inspired you to do that big career change and transition. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about your journey and what made you make that big decision to leave a comfortable 9 to 5, right? Into where you are today.
Yes, thank you. So it all started one day. I was 6 years into my school counseling journey. I was enjoying it. I was loving it. And one morning I came into the office, I sat down, I looked up and I said, God, is this it? And I just felt deep down in my heart that there was just more, so much more that I could do. There was so much more potential that I had in me. And I felt like I wasn't being able to tap into it, maximize it. And although I love the kids, I love the families, everything was going good. I mean, there was really no reason to be wanting or craving more. So what I did was I said, maybe I need more inspiration. Maybe I need to be challenged more so I can tap in and use all these gifts, right? So I went from a school counselor in a traditional school building to a suspension site. So I was still a school counselor, but I felt like, all right, I wanted more of a challenge. So I went to a suspension school. The kids there were suspended for anywhere from 90 days to over a year. And I was like, okay, good. This is what I need. I need more of a challenge. So I was there for the first year was great. Everything was good. The second year, I was trying to do some just different things, different strategies and stuff like that. And everything I tried to do or wanted to do, I felt like it was pushed. There was so much pushback. There was so much red tape. There was almost like I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do that I thought would make an impact. I just already knew that, all right, I'm not going to be able to use up all my gifts. I'm not even going to be able to use half of them here. And one day I was going to work after getting up early in the morning, dragging myself out there. You know how it is. Like in the morning, it's just so difficult, especially when you have kids. You're trying to get them there on time so you're not late the clock in, so you don't get in trouble, all the things, right? I remember driving down the highway and I looked on the other side of the highway and it was kind of like empty. Like all the cars were cruising by and there was some boats attached to some of the cars and they were going in the opposite direction. So I thought, I'm sitting here in traffic, heading downtown and about to go look for parking for about 30 minutes to 45 minutes. I'm about to go sweat. By the time I drag myself upstairs and sit at my desk, I felt like I've already done a full-time job just getting to work. And so I was like, what are the people on the other side doing? Like, how are you in the middle of the day have a boat attached to your car and where are you going? I need to know what these people are doing because clearly I'm in the wrong field. So I said to, so the craving started to, increase more and more and more. And so I was like, God, I just want to tell myself what to do. I just want to get up one day and not have to go anywhere, not have to clock in, not have to have anyone tell me what to do. I just want my own time. I just want freedom. So that's when the whole freedom started coming in and I just want freedom. I just want to go. I just want to go. So 2017, I spoke to my husband. Things got difficult at work. And you know how it is when when the supervisors start picking on you and it's just not a good look. So after gaining weight, feeling stressed, feeling like I hated to go to work. Like if I hated to go to work, I'm not exaggerating, just absolutely hated to go. He was like, all right, it's just time to come out. So February 2017, I left my 9 to 5 as a school counselor. And I remember heading back home and I just felt so free. Mind you, I didn't have a job. I just started kind of posting online here and there. I wasn't making anything worth to make note of, right? And so all I thought was, I'm finally free. And you would think I would be scared at the time. I just wasn't scared because I just said to myself, Queenette, everything you've ever tried, it's always worked. Everything you put your mind to is always worked. So we don't know what the next step looks like, but we know for sure that it's going to work. That's how I transitioned out of my 9 to 5.
Are you looking to start a podcast and see this episode show notes for my unique promo code to get up to 2 months of free podcasting service with Libsyn when you sign up for a new account? Get your show on Apple and Spotify and beyond. Get helpful audience building stats and all the support you need to sound your best. They can even do video. Bring your podcast to life and have your voice heard here, there, and everywhere with Libsyn. Again, see the show notes for my unique Libsyn promo code and get podcasting. I have goosebumps listening to you, Queenette, because that moment, some of you are listening, you're still at your 9 to 5. Some of you just left, or perhaps some of you experience, what I experienced, which is a layoff. Regardless of where you are in your journey, I'm sure that if you're listening all the way to this point, I'm sure that you're very much invested in what Queenette's story is all about. And we love you for that because stay tuned. She's going to share with you what she was able to accomplish after she realized I'm free. Now what, right? But before we do that, I just want to bring home what you shared here, Queenette, that firing desire, realizing something else is out there for me. It's a scary feeling. I remember feeling it, in fact, on my way back from a trip for my corporate job. Just like you, I was comfortable, 6 figures, traveling all over the world. And I was coming back from a trip from India and I was not well throughout the entire 13-hour plus flight. And it's when I came back that I had that feeling about what else can I do? Can I do this, but still have the freedom? And so again, I'll end with this for you listening. I don't know if you picked that up, but I hope that you do. If there's one thing on this call that you need to remember is that pay attention. You can do this. And now she's going to give you the strategies and insights, right? And so Queenette, thank you so much for sharing your journey. And you decided to leave and you felt that freedom. In the title of this episode, I shared that you made an impressive $240,000 in just 30 days. Listen, that is super Amazing. And so, my question to you, Quinette, is can you walk us through the strategies that you use to get there? You mentioned that you were posting here and there on social. You didn't really have anything going on or whatever, right? But yet, you managed to create $240,000 in just 30 days. Share with us one or two or three, whichever you want, strategies that helped you get there.
Absolutely. And so let me just start from the beginning because I think it's very important to understand the beginning. So when I first did my initial launch, I made $1,188, right? So that was like coming out from the 9 to 5, trying to figure it out, live streaming, doing all the things. At that time, I've invested in coaching, all the things. And so failing is one of the most important parts of this journey because when I say failing, but some people would have been impressed with $1,188. For me, it was 4 people at 297, and so it wasn't a good launch. Let me put it that way, right? And so I think it's important before we talk about how much I made after all the emotional growth, all the emotional intelligence, everything aligned, and I made this. I don't want people to walk away thinking like this is just what the normal average is. And so if someone is struggling right now, I don't want them to have the impression that they're doing something wrong, but understanding that we grow, we evolve, and then we start hitting some numbers that are really incredible. I just want to set that context. So when I first started, it was a struggle. I had the employee mindset. I didn't quite step into the role of CEO yet because it takes a while to decondition yourself from understanding that you have the final say, that you have the skill set, you are the expert, you are the authority. No one hires you, right? You choose yourself, whereby like there's no interviews for me to go on for someone to be like, oh, you qualify for this job, right? And so there's a lot of emotional intelligence work that I had to do. So let me just give you 3 tips, right? Because I know people are listening, they're like, Queenette, just give me the goods, right? So here's the 3 things that I think has made the biggest difference. And I know oftentimes we want strategy. There's one strategy and 2 of it is energetics because that's the difference maker. Okay. So number 1 is understanding your assignment, understand where you are being called, understand what mission you are on, and understand that you are a messenger on a journey to deliver amazing resources, services to other people. When you position yourself as someone that's on an assignment, the things that would trip people up day to day just does not get in your way. You become completely relentless about your goal and you are doing it from a place of service because you know that you're on a mission and on assignment. Okay, so I think the first thing is understand your assignment and make sure that you're exactly where you need to be so that you're in integrity, you're in alignment, and everything just continues to go from there. There will be struggles, but you know you're on the right path. Number 2, I would say nail your message. Being able to clearly communicate, articulate your gifts, your talents, your true value so that when you're offering your services, people understand it, then they really, really get it. I am known as the queen of messaging. So this is a really, really important piece for me because what I found in the coaching industry when I came in was that the best, I'm talking about like experts who are really, really good at what they do, people who really care about transformation were the least visible. Like, unless I was in the mastermind with these people, I just did not even hear about them. They were hidden. Nobody knew about them. And so when I would go on their social media, I'm like, no one is going to understand like what you're doing. They won't really get the impact. It's only because I know you, I know how good you are. And so I thought it was unfair that a lot of times the most visible people are people who may not have this as much skill set as some of the people I knew. So I was like, all right, well, we have to help clients and coaches really nail their message so that when they're speaking, people understand the value. So I would say number 2 is clarify your message. Make sure it's really clear. Make sure people understand your true value, the gifts, your expertise, and those experiences. And don't shy away from them, right? Be speak up, be clear about it, and just make those offers. And I think that would get you really, really far, just being clear. So that's the second thing. And the third thing I think is all of it is important. I think number 3 is very important. That's why it's my movement. I think it's to be an unstoppable queen. It's really that energetic shift, knowing that you lead and everybody else responds to your leadership, right? And so you might say, well, Queenette, I don't have any clients right now. Queenette, I have a few clients right now. It doesn't matter. One of the things you want to embody right now, right away, even if you're just leaving or you're about to leave or you left a few days ago or gonna leave, whatever it is, this is like little single-handedly, if you can have this energetically in your system and code it into your system daily, like as often as possible, you're going to get to your goals so much faster. This is the one thing I wish someone had said that landed for me in my soul, because this has made the biggest difference, which is be an unstoppable queen. Lead yourself and don't wait to be chosen. Don't wait for outside people to validate you. Don't wait for people to say, hey, come speak here. Hey, come show up here. And don't chase anyone. Wherever your platform of choice is, show up. Show up completely self-led, completely knowing what you want to say, and just keep on speaking up, sharing what it is, making offers over and over and over, relentlessly. Do not wait for someone to say, oh, she's so good. Don't wait for someone to say, oh, come here. Invitations will come, but don't wait for that. So the most important thing is literally to lead yourself. Make sure that you are awake and say what you have to say, open, clearly, loudly, and just lead first. And then everything, the universe responds to that. People respond to that. Oftentimes what people do, they try to wait and say, well, if this person chooses me, then I know I'm really good. If this person invites me, then I know I'm really good. Do not wait for invitations, or they'll never come. They won't come. Okay. So I would say that would be the third thing. So number one, know your assignment, know your mission. Two, nail that message and make sure it's really clear so you can clearly articulate what it is you bring to the table. And number three, just be unstoppable. Like, show up. You already it, right? You hired, you're there. And so act like it, be it, and just show up that way.
Excellent. Oh my goodness. So good. I hope you're taking notes. And if you're driving or doing the laundry, you need to make sure that you replay this because wow, wow, wow. The successful transformers out there, okay, are the ones that have lived it, are willing to, take responsibility for their journey and saying, yeah, I have no problem authentically helping you too, because I've been there and I'm going to share with you the struggles. And I just want to say thank you for putting that prerequisite before sharing how you created this wonderful income. As far as it was a struggle. Many people get very intimidated, like you said, wanting that validation. And so for you listening, make sure you check out the show notes. And as we wrap up this episode, Queenette is definitely going to be sharing with you where she hangs out and what's going on with her so she can continue to serve you and help you. I just want to touch on that third point that you made in regards to the strategies, because I know many, many self-employed individuals struggle throughout that journey. As you shared, you had to work through that mindset. There was a lot of shifting that needed to happen from that employee mindset to CEO mindset. Right there and then is a big transition. And so I want to touch on that part about wanting that validation from others, only because I'm in the content marketing world. I get to really face this with a lot of small businesses when they come to me to help them with social media. And so my question to you is, when your clients and the people you come across come to you and saying, I get it, Queenette, you're telling me to be the queen, to be out there and just share, but there's always something blocking them. What have you experienced would be the most common blocks that you hear people say when you tell them, own it, go? What are some of the things? And perhaps share with us what you help them with to overcome that.
I think the main thing is comparison, because when we look at other people we admire, people we look up to, we compare that to where we are right now. And then what we do is we make a decision, or we create some thoughts in our head and say, well, if this person is all the way over there and I'm all the way over here, then there's no way I can speak loud and clear and certain and confident. Big, 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 big mistake. So the biggest issue is the comparison, right? So here's how I want you to begin to look at this, right? We have the voice of the soul and we have the voice of the ego, right? And the voice of the soul is what you might call, depending on what you believe in, right? You might say the Holy Spirit, intuition, Mother Nature, the universe, depending on what you believe in, you might call it whatever, right? It's just the voice of that still small, that quiet voice that tells you like, oh, this is where we're going. This is good. This is where you should go. This is what you're meant to say. And it's a voice that sounds so unreasonable, because the first thing you'll say when you hear this voice is like, well, how am I going to make money doing that? And so we fight against this voice over and over again. We fight against this voice over and over again. And that's the voice that will get you to whatever goal you have faster than the voice of the ego. So the voice of the ego will sound something like, well, you can't do that, or that's not possible, or you've never seen anyone do that that looked like you, or you've never seen anyone do that. No one talks about it in that way. So the voice of the ego is very much comparing to somebody else, something else, whereby the voice of the soul is always led by this is a we kind of thing. It's good for you, it's good for me, it's good for us. It has this kind of like, is a visionary perspective. And a lot of times it doesn't make sense because it doesn't have the step-by-step process. So the voice, because it's encompassing everything, it knows all. It doesn't give you a linear thing like, well, take step one and then do step two. And so we don't trust that voice because it's not what we're traditionally used to hearing. And so what I would say is if you could begin to in the morning, what I do is meditation. I meditate. I'm a homeschooling mom, so I'm homeschooling 3 kids. And so what we practice is meditation and being able to quiet things down long enough to hear where we're being led to, long enough to hear what's really coming through. What I found that when I get out of the way and I'm a channel, everything I want comes faster. But when I'm doing the Queenette, the survival, the survival Queenette that didn't have enough food, couldn't pay for school trips and all these things, I'm trying to controlling, I'm forcing, I'm pushing. And that doesn't work. It just leads to burnout. And then I have to sleep for a couple of days, get out of that rut and like, all right, get back into alignment again and say, okay, calm down. Everything is working out. What do I need to hear? And then I listen again. And so I would say comparing your who you are right now to someone else who's been doing this for 20, 30 years, even if someone just started and all of a sudden you see that something happened and they just kind of blew up or whatever, I just want you to trust that your journey is preparing you for a mission that you won't even believe that that's your destiny. Like you won't even believe it. So all the pain that I've gone through in terms of rejection, in terms of the no's, in terms of feeling ignored and all those things, like who I am right now, I had to go through those things. My voice wouldn't be as certain and confident as it is right now had I not gone through those nights where I felt like nobody gets it. Like no one sees me. I said this the other day in my post. I was like, I'm not growing my business. My business is growing me. And that's the absolute truth. And so the comparison, I say, and I'm not saying this because it's easy, I say put that down and just go through your own journey, focused on your own page, because whatever needs to happen for you to grow and become the woman, the queen that I know that you could be, that's exactly what's going to happen. And you cannot go around it. Like, you know what I mean? Like whatever needs to break off, being addicted to confirmation, being addicted to clarity, being addicted to validation, all those things are going to break off. And it's going to take a process for them to break off, for you to finally be fully awakened and activated. And so I would say, like, just trust the process, even if it looks like it's not working, because it's working on you to eventually work with you. So you're going to be fine. Like, just trust that you're on the right path. You're going to be fine. You're held. Universe knows exactly what you want and desire. And the path to getting there is what we are frustrated by most times. But just know that ultimately it's going to be fine in the end.
I love it. So powerful. Thank you so much for this message, Queenette. Listen, I say this all the time. It's not about focusing on the how. It's focusing on the why. Self-employment is definitely a journey, but just like Queenette walked us through, my journey, her journey, yours listening might be looking a little bit different, but it's supposed to be. And so I love, love, love this. So Queenette, if you could take a moment and share with us, although I have everything in the show notes, but if you don't mind sharing with us the best way to get in touch with you, where you hang out, and perhaps share a thing or two about how it is to work with you, what you have going on, we would love to hear.
Sure. Thank you for that. That's very sweet of you. So I have a free gift for you. It's called Discover Your Core Message and Mission. This is all about uncovering untapped potential and maximizing your gifts and talents. I think that the more aware, self-aware you are of what you bring to the table and the function of those skill set, I think the more confidence and certainty that comes through you, and the more clarity you'll have in your message, and the more sturdy you'll be in your mission. And so you can get that at queenette.com/gift. The link will be there in the show notes. And so I'm on Queenette. I'm Queenette Nwobodo on Facebook and on Instagram. And we have a really sweet Facebook group called the Unstoppable Queen Collective. And so, yes, you can join us, and we'll be happy to have you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for this wonderful gift, Quinette. And we'll have it in the show notes. And I will also link to your wonderful Facebook group for anyone to join. I know you cannot skip this. You have to join. And I cannot wait to have you on again and bring some more insights to help us through this journey of becoming successful as self-employment individuals. And so thank you again for coming on the show, Quinette.
Thank you for having me.
And there you have it. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did listening to this conversation with Quinette. Her story and her insights were so valuable. If you want to learn more about Quinette and her work, be sure to check out the show notes. And don't forget to subscribe to this episode if this is your first time visiting. As always, thank you for tuning in to the Self-Employed Success Podcast. I'm your host, Martine, and I can't wait to share more stories of self-employment success with you in our next episode.